Hey, deserving listeners, this is part 2 in me reviewing the story of Risa Tisa on TikTok, otherwise known as Teresa Johnson, and her viral video series titled Who the Fuck Did I Marry? Let's get into it. My name is Dr. Kirk Honda. I'm a therapist and a professor, and I specialize in personality disorders, which is being discussed, I believe, in her account.
Teresa says she discovered he had a criminal record. Documents revealing Legion pled guilty to charges of impersonating a police officer in 2017 and even had an open warrant for violating probation.
Okay, so as I was saying earlier, psychopaths, by almost definition, I mean, in terms of and I'll go over the criteria for a psychopath in a second, but one prominent criterion with psychopathy is what we call criminal versatility, meaning that for most people that will commit crimes, they will be in one category. Like if someone likes to boost cars, then a lot of their crimes will be in that category. Or if they are bank robbers, for example, or if they like to forge checks, or if they are stock traders, inside traders, or they tend to be violent, they lose their temper, and their crimes are within assaults and those kinds of things, or their crimes are within intimate partner violence. But for psychopaths, their crimes will be in several different categories. They will work at a restaurant as a waiter, and they'll take money from the till and get caught. They will have a lot of speeding tickets. They will get drunk in public. They will be violent. They will impersonate a police officer. And when it comes time to facing the consequences, like probation, they don't comply with it, which is shooting yourself in the foot, right? If you want to get away with things and you're a mastermind, like the way that psychopaths are depicted in movies, then you wouldn't stupidly shoot yourself in the foot by not following probation, right? Usually probation isn't that hard to follow, or at the very least, the consequences. There are ways of complying with probation while still getting away with things, right? It's a fast track to getting caught again, and because usually when you violate probation, you incur all the previous consequences that you were threatened with. So all this is demonstrating my point that psychopaths are not these masterminds. I mean, even if you have a smart psychopath, someone with an above average IQ, given their disorder, that's why we call it a disorder. It's not a strength. It's not something you want. It's not a superpower. It is something that is very self-destructive and destructive to others, but it's very, very self-destructive. And this, repeated. Now, we're hearing that there was a lengthy criminal history, but we're only hearing about two things. But it is especially the first one. Pled guilty to charges of impersonating a police officer. What was that about? Because that could run the gamut, right? It could be anything from like a prank that he took a little too far to a pattern of trying to manipulate, trying to control, leading to harming other people. I mean, God knows. I don't know if we'll find out.
Pled guilty to charges of impersonating a police officer in 2017 and even had an open warrant for violating probation. After just 6 months of marriage, Teresa and Legion divorced.
It was as if...
Okay, so 6 months of marriage, so maybe mid-2021. So about a year-long relationship, or a little over a year, I think is what it sounds like.
A year worth of weight came off of me. I broke down, and I wailed.
I heard you say that.
Yeah, so about a year, and yeah, wow. I can see why people would follow her and follow this story. She has a way with words, a way with being able to describe a very common experience for all of us.
You're not who you were before all this happened. Do you miss her?
I do. She got excited. I don't really get excited anymore.
Yeah, this is the part that breaks my heart. I see this when I watch reality TV. Of course, I've seen it with clients. But with clients, I have some ability to help with this and turn it around. Because she should not feel like she can't have hope or that she won't find love. It just compounds on itself, right? It sounds like she was already coming from a place of thinking it might not ever work out for her. And then to be preyed on, which is not her fault. You can't know if someone, these sorts of individuals are rare, is the thing. Now, if you go on the internet, every other former partner is a narcissist or a psychopath or a pathological liar. But when we look into those stories, it was a misunderstanding, or there was some lying, but it wasn't on the level of what I think we're hearing here. Psychopaths statistically are extremely rare. I've asked people, lay individuals, to give me a rough percentage of what the population of the United States suffers from either narcissistic personality disorder or psychopathy or what people call sociopathy or antisocial, whatever. And I'll get a wide range of percentages. Some people say, I don't know, what do you think, like 30% or 20% or 50%? I'll hear sometimes. Psychopaths are probably less than 1% of the population. It depends on how you define it, but it's very, very rare. There's a chance that you'll never come across someone like this, or if you do, they don't target you. Like for myself, I met what I believe to be a classic psychopath, a con artist, a pathological liar, a callous, unempathetic, lacking of empathy individual who goes from town to town just without any care, and he will con people. And he's already, with the previous town he came from, we found out he had promised to marry. He was engaged. He almost got married. Her and the family had all sorts of plans. They had engagement parties, and they had started paying for the wedding, and then he got caught and he just skipped town. So, and we did, and again, this is before the internet, so we don't know how to track down other instances of his con artistry. So I met someone like that, and he didn't target me with it. I met him. Out of the, I don't know, thousands and thousands of people I've met in my life in person, known well enough to see this sort of thing. I know of one person. In my clinical work, there are jobs that I'm more likely to come across, like if I'm doing forensic assessments and that kind of work. It wasn't really for me, but you're more likely to come across these kinds of individuals. Or if you work more with, like when I did work with perpetrators of intimate partner violence, you're maybe more likely to come across these folks. But even there, I treated many people who were convicted in a court of law of intimate partner violence, domestic violence, and were forced, court-ordered, to attend the group that I was a part of, the treatment group. And I don't remember a single one of the perpetrators even being close to being a psychopath. There are many roads to domestic violence, intimate partner violence, one of which is to be a psychopath, but there are many. Most of the roads do not involve that. So I would hope that she could know that she just rolled the dice and it came up snake eyes, and that's very unlikely to happen. Now, that's a bad analogy because that's like 1 in 36 or something to come up snake eyes. So she rolled the Yahtzee dice, and it came up all ones. She rolled 5 dice, is it, in Yahtzee? 5 or 6 dice. That is extremely rare. Like if there's 6 dice, that's 6 times 6 times 6 times 6 times 6 times. I don't know, what is that? A really high number. A 1 in 10,000 ish, something. So it's very, very rare. It doesn't happen to most people, and because I want her to get her needs met, I want her to have the life that she wants. She deserves to have the life that she, particularly given what's that now. Maybe with the profile, a high profile, out of the 400 million views that she has on TikTok, you got to think somebody in there that is. But if she doesn't open up at least now the thing that I would tell her is, yes, because a lot of people, when I'm treating clients, they will say, so I'm just supposed to trust people? And what I say is, no, do not trust people. Trust is earned. Trust is something that takes a lot of time. So my recommendation is no, don't trust until they've proven themselves trustworthy. So you take it slow and you don't move in right away and you take your time and you don't invest. You can have feelings investments, right? You can say, oh my God, I'm really having feelings for you. But to intertwine, to have your life intertwined or to start making a story of what will happen in the future or what is happening right now. You can say, wow, it's been 6 months and this relationship is going really well, almost too well, but really well. And I love him and he loves me and we're making plans for the future. We have similar goals, but it's only been 6 months. So who knows? I don't know. I have hopes, but things take time and I'm just going to have to take that time. That's what I would recommend that she do. And then you try to live in the moment. You try to say, well, right now it feels good. Right now we're having a good time. Right in this second, it's always this future tripping. I got to get to the finish line. We got to get, and I understand, she wants to have kids and there's a timeline there. Yeah, but where's the balance, right? Yeah, let's try to keep things moving, but it takes time. And with time, you'll find out. And if things pan out, then you can start to really hand over your heart, And if someone really loves you, then they'll give you that time. If you say, hey, I do love you and I am into you, but I've been burned before. I thought I was in love before with someone that treated me very, very badly. So I want to be in love. I want to feel that feeling, but I don't want to think about the future and I don't want to make any commitments. And so I just hope that you can handle that. If enough time goes by, maybe 2 or 3 years, and it seems like there's no sign that you're a psychopath, then we can start having those conversations. And I'm sorry, to me, if someone really loves you, they will wait. And if they don't, if they're just like, well, screw you then not the right person. So I would just hope that she could have that as a possibility. Now, if she decides for herself, I'm done, I don't need that kind of stuff. I have my friends and my family and my hobbies and my TikTok. I don't need any of that in my life. That's okay too. But I would just hope that she knows that she rolled the Yahtzee dice and she came up with 6 ones, which is unlikely to happen again. Lightning doesn't tip. It can, the probability is there, but it's not likely to happen. All right, so just chiming in here, that concludes the free portion of this video. The rest of this video is just for members of this YouTube channel. So if you aren't a member and you want to see the rest of this video and all the other member exclusive videos, of which there are many, you can join the channel by clicking the join button or by clicking on the link in the description to become a member of the channel. And thank you to all the members who are currently a member. I could only be doing this because of you. And everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.